Welcome. This is Richard Hosnote, and I want to welcome you to the Innovation Best Practices episodes, where every episode is designed to help you sell more and make more from your innovation program, utilizing only proven and practical best practices that I believe can work for just about any business and any innovation need. I want to give a special welcome to our listeners around the world in 91 countries. Welcome back. Have some free offers for you. Free's usually pretty good. First one's pretty, I don't do this often, so you may want to pay attention. I'm offering a free consulting session. All you need to do is send me an email. I'll give you the email address in a minute, about what you'd like to learn and how you think I can help you in a consulting session that could last anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. Okay? So if you're interested in getting some free consulting, email me. Again, the email will be in just a minute. If you'd like a free newsletter, I publish it twice a month that has insights that are not in the episodes. Email me for that too. You can also get the free Innovation Best Practices app for both Apple products and Google at the App Store and at Google Play. And there's a whole lot of free resources at my website, which is i2ge.com. And that email address is richard@i2ge.com. I look forward to hearing from you on the free consulting and the free newsletter. Thank you. Today we're wrapping up our three-part series of Gary Hamel's best-selling book, What Matters Now: How to Win in a World of Relentless Change, Ferocious Competition, and Unstoppable Innovation. This is a book I highly recommend you all read. As I've done in previous episodes, all that I'm going to be sharing with you here are really direct quotes from the book. Here's Gary with some more thoughts on innovation. Progressive CEOs increasingly understand that innovation is a company's lifeblood. But not many CEOs have put every employee through an intensive training program aimed at boosting their innovation skills. Not many is an understatement, but recognizing that innovation is a company's lifeblood. Okay? To be an innovator, you must have to challenge the beliefs that everyone else takes for granted. Amen. The long-held assumptions that blind industry incumbents to new ways of doing business. These exist in all businesses. These exist in your businesses. Discovering them and discovering the truth can drive innovation success. Here's Hamel on being more innovative. Pay close attention to emerging trends, to the nascent discontinuities that have the potential to reinvigorate old businesses or create new ones. Great advice. Every company is a bundle of skills and assets. Typically, these things are embedded in legacy business models, but if repurposed, they can often serve as platforms for innovation and growth. Innovators are good at spotting the inconveniences, encumbrances, and vexations that customers have come to take for granted and that industry veterans mostly ignore. Wow, is that the truth? It's kind of like veterans and people who have been in the business. Well, that's what you need to do to use a product like this. You really? It can't be more convenient. It can't be more cumbersome and complex. We can't improve that? Come on, wake up. Here's why Hamel says Apple is so successful. At the top of his list is passion. And if you've read any of the thing about Steve Jobs, you know this guy had passion. Second, they're a company that leads. They do not follow. And this is very important because it's where they play and where they've been most successful. Third, they aim to surprise. I know I was surprised when I saw the first iPhone. All the swiping and all the apps and everything about it, the design, just everything. Surprised. Fourth, they say be unreasonable. It's exactly what you need to do. I mean, you think that being reasonable is a virtue. When it comes to business and when it comes to innovation, sometimes you need to be unreasonable, especially with your sense of urgency and how high you set the bar for the ideas that you need to be successful. Next, he says, innovate incessantly and pervasively. This is about Apple. Next, he says, they sweat the details. You bet your life they do. They bet your life they do. And lastly, he says, they think like an engineer and feel like an artist. I love that. Really do. Okay, here's some watch-outs from Hamel. Given all this, the only thing that can be safely predicted is that sometime soon your organization will be challenged to change in ways for which it has no precedent. Your company will either adapt or falter, rethink its core assumptions, or fumble the future. And to be honest, a fumble is the most likely outcome. That's the way it is. You need to be alert. You absolutely need to be in the game on a 24/7 basis. Next. In global 1,000 companies, as in poorly governed dictatorships, deep change occurs belatedly and convulsively. I've talked about this before in some previous podcasts, and I've referred to it as company culture and especially innovation culture within that broader culture. Deep change occurs belatedly only when the core values and beliefs kind of blow up on a company and somebody says, boy, this isn't working anymore. There must be a better way. And that's where the convulsively comes into all of it. So this requires an alertness, a lack of being satisfied. I know one of the things that I learned in my years of being Ernest Gallo's vice president of marketing, Ernest just had this great habit. He was a very interesting guy. Great habit of never allowing anybody to get satisfied with the results. I've told a story once before in an episode about a time that I went to Ernest and celebrated that we'd finally gotten one of our key brands up to over a 50% share. And I had a smile on my face and, feeling very good about it because it had been a long battle to get up there. And he looked at me and there wasn't a smile on his face. And he said, come talk to me when you have 100% of the business. And it's the way you need to think. Okay? Here's some Hamel on companies and innovation. Organizations lose their relevance when the rate of internal change lags the pace of external change. Another way of saying it, when the world passes you by. An adaptable company is one that captures more than its fair share of new opportunities. It's always refining its core business in ways that open up new avenues for growth. It has to be a continuous process, not a knee-jerk reaction to changes that are going on in the marketplace. Too little, too late, too many times. Next. To thrive in turbulent times, organizations must become a bit more disorganized and unmanaged, less structured, less hierarchical, and less routinized. Boy, please take this to heart. This is great advice. Here's what he says the problem with success. He says, success corrupts. You go from offensive to defensive thinking, protecting what you have. You develop inflexible business systems. And I love this next language. Fossilized mental models. You get abundant resources, which leads to intellectual laziness. And contentment and entitlement follow when success corrupts. And I talked about that a little bit with the Ernest Gallo story just a minute ago. Success is its own worst enemy, and these are the downsides of success if you're not aware of them and you don't have a plan to overcome every single one of these serious problems that can really end up hurting your company. Future-proofing your company, he says. Anticipation. You cannot outrun the future if you do not see it coming. You cannot outrun the future if you do not see it coming. Okay? You need to have binoculars on where the business is going and what it's going to look like. You need to face the inevitable. You need to learn from what's happening out on the fringe, the leading edge. You need to rehearse alternative futures. Another way of future-proofing your company is having intellectual flexibility. Challenge assumptions. Invest in genetic diversity. Encourage debate and dialectic thinking. Strategic variety. Great, great advice, every single one of them. More stuff on future-proofing a company. You need strategic flexibility. 9 times out of 10, nimble beats big. You need structural flexibility. Surrender your freedoms reluctantly. Guard your flexibility diligently. There are some resilience-friendly values. Embrace a grand challenge. Embed new management principles. Honor new values. And lastly, passion matters now. I wish I'd said these things. They're all spot on. Here's some concluding thoughts. Gary is a preeminent and one of the most forward-thinking authors and visionaries about American business in general and innovation more specifically. I strongly urge listeners to listen to these 2 or 3 times of these 3 episodes. I think you'll get new and deeper understandings each time. And even though I've covered a lot in this 3-part series, I strongly urge you to get the book and read it. Lots of added value. If you want more innovation best practices, all you need to do is go to my website at i2ge.com. That's the letter I, number 2ge.com. On the left-hand side, click on the DIY innovation training, do-it-yourself innovation training. A bunch of training programs will pop up. If there's not one there that meets your exact needs, just email me and I'd be glad to tailor one to your needs. Here's what I'm trying to do with this. I'm trying to make you innovation self-sufficient so you don't have to hire expensive consultants like me and others to do it for you. Another best practice resource is one of the 6 books that I've published. It's titled Proven Practical Innovation That Delivers Results. It's available only on Amazon in paperback and Kindle versions, and it's priced below my break-even cost, so it's a heck of a value. I love hearing from listeners, so if you have suggestions, comments, or requests, just email me at richard@i2ge.com. In the next episode, we look at, and this is this is tragic, but holy mackerel, is it a autopsy that of essentially the lost decade of innovation at Microsoft that really sent them into some very, very unsuccessful places and derailed them. It looks like they may be pulling out of it a bit, but we're going to learn the lessons from that lost decade of innovation. Very interesting stuff. Make sure you listen in. As all of you know, I'm deeply appreciative of you taking time out of your busy day to spend it with me. Until then, please have a great day.